In this video, I am going to be talking about the Lagrangian points, or the gravity wells that exist throughout the universe. They are named after the orbit that they follow most closely. So the HER is the Hurston, 1 through 5, Crew is Crusader, ARC is ArcCorp, and then of course MIC is Microtech. Now, if you don't know, a Lagrangian point is a point in the cosmos where the various factors at play, gravitational factors, pulling on that point sort of rest and equals zero. So, for example, there's a distance between our Earth and the Moon where an object can sit in orbit of those two things and not change position. It moves because everything in space is moving, but it's not altering its relationship between Earth and the Moon. Now, keep in mind, that's pseudoscience for video games. If you look it up, I'm sure it'll be more detailed and more interesting than that. But if you're going to one of these, and you might be going to them for quests, like the mining outpost quests or the staking a claim quests, or if you just can't travel across the verse in one jump and you need to refuel, you're going to find yourself needing to go to these places. It is important to note that when you click on one of these, at the top right, it'll tell you whether or not there is an R&R. R&R rest stop for refueling and repairs. They don't all have them. So if you need to refuel on the way to something and you pop over to ARC L4, you will be screwed because it's just going to be you and a bunch of rocks. So just keep that in mind before traveling out. Also, when you arrive at them, if you are going to do a quest, I recommend immediately landing at the R&R station, so that way if you die, or if something goes wrong, or if the server dies, you will respawn right back where you left off at the station and not at your original travel point. When you arrive at the Lagrangian point, sometimes it's hard to see. You can see the station there in the distance, so tiny. But just remember, you can always respool again, and you can see the station, and even get a little bit closer by jumping again. They all have some, hilarious highway roadside name. Like peaceful wave, babbling brook, shallow frontier. I don't know if those are all names, but you get the idea. Now, like I said earlier, whenever you come here to do a quest or refuel, if you refuel, you have to land. I highly recommend landing on the pad. Even if you don't need to go in, just land and then get up again. So that way your respawn point is created. And in fact, I recommend doing the same thing. Say you're going to travel all the way to Microtech to do a quest. I recommend landing at Port Tressler if you say you're going to do a 890 jump mission quest. Just fly in, land at Port Tressler, and then pick back up, and you've created a respawn point. It'll save you a lot of headache in the future. I'm kind of milking it out here because, as you can see, space stations often offer some of the most interesting views. I'm addicted to this moment, this aesthetic. Is really, I think, what sold the game for me. There are other reasons to come here besides quests and refueling. These stations offer unique shopping chances. When you are modding ships, sometimes you're looking for specialty parts, and you don't always have to go to the biggest cities to get them. In fact, sometimes you find platinum bays and Garrity's weapons and those kinds of things closer to you at a little R&R instead of all the way at one of the bigger places. I'm not going to show you all the different layouts because that would probably drive me insane. But one thing you just need to know is that frequently there is a Y split. It might look more like a T-junction, but when you come out of security, there will be a left and a right, or a forward and a left like there is here, that take you to different parts of the station. The stations are often split between the conventional stores and the food court. So like here, if we go straight out of security, sneak through the hallways, we get to the food court. And there's beverages. Oh, even more beverages. Healthier beverages. You can't be a space pilot if you don't stay hydrated. Juice bar, noodle house, ice cream you can eat, hot dogs you can eat, all of those kinds of things. And you can run around this room and be confused and be like, well, how do I get to the other stores? The answer is you have to go back the way you came to the Y split, back to security, and then down the other way. A lot of them are structured that way. The layouts are different, but they still sort of mostly follow that pattern where you have to snake back to security and then go back down a different long meandering hallway. And then here we get your more conventional stores. You know, there's an armor store, there's a clothing store, here's Platinum Bay. The stores in them all vary, so they might not have a Platinum Bay at all or a Kasaba at all, but they do all have an admin office where, of course, you can do shipping and trading. They're really pretty simple. Sometimes they feel complicated because you have to run through these long meandering hallways to get anywhere. But it's important to know that you have these sort of resources way out in the middle of nowhere. Instead of having to go all the way back to the big city, especially, again, as a respawn point. I know it sounds like a weird point to drive home because everybody knows it, but if you forget to make a respawn point for yourself by landing on a pad, then you can easily lose 10 minutes of gameplay that you just have to repeat, maybe even 15 with insurance claim time. So that's it. I hope that was helpful. Again, not every space station is laid out this way. There's quite a few different variants. And that goes for the R&Rs and the major space stations outside of the main cities. Besides Port Olisar. That port is beautiful and straightforward. I hope this helps, and happy hunting.